Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Commissioner Hall, members of staff, welcome back to the Joint Economic Committee for another hearing on the job situation. Mr. Rones, thank you for your many years of service to our country. You will be missed, and we appreciate all that you've done for the committee. Clearly, today's increase in the number of payroll jobs provided relief to the market, mainly because it exceeded such very low expectations. Certainly nothing to celebrate today. And the unemployment rate fell largely because of 193,000 decline in the labor force. The actual number of employed people in the household survey fell by 38,000. The broader measure of unemployment remains over 16%. And what troubles me is that we have the fewest number of people participating in the workforce than in a quarter of a century. Those are not signals of a healthy economy. 2.5 years ago this month, President Obama signed his historic stimulus bill, promising to jumpstart the economy, restore consumer confidence, and put people back to work. Today, with historic numbers of Americans desperate for work, consumer confidence plunging, the risk of a double-dip recession growing, and the stock market reeling, it's long past time to pull the plug on the President's failed economic policies. I don't fault the President for trying. Lord knows he's thrown every big government solution at this economy. But it hasn't worked as we warned. And I now have concluded the White House simply does not understand how to create jobs in America, or certainly at least not government jobs in America. How much longer must Americans watch their economy stumble? After trillions of dollars in poorly designed stimulus and monetary intervention, must 9% unemployment be the new norm? After all the big government bullets have been spent, how many more years will families and businesses suffer till America enjoys a strong, prosperous economy again? Mr. President, America is fair. It's been patient, more than patient. But after 2.5 years, enough is enough. You've tried and failed to revive this economy. America deserves better than a second-rate economy that's held up to ridicule by other nations. When the economy is headed in the wrong direction, common sense dictates you change course. Instead of threatening to raise taxes on job creators along Main Street, we need to lower the cost of capital, increase business investment that's proven time and time again to create real jobs. Instead of branding companies as somehow un-American for competing in the global marketplace, we should tear down the barriers to sales abroad, reduce the cost of regulation and taxes that place them miles behind at the starting line, and lower the tax gate so an estimated $1 trillion in American profits stranded abroad can flow back home to be invested here in America right now in new jobs, more research, business expansions, and a stronger financial future. Passing the 3 pending trade agreements will create 250,000 new American jobs. Putting our energy companies back to work in the Gulf, Alaska, and in abundant American fields onshore and off will create more than 1 million new American jobs this decade. Another 800,000 jobs will be saved this decade merely by calling a halt to the President's new national health care law. That will also eliminate a costly cloud of worry among small, medium, and large job creators throughout the country. There's much more that needs to be done, but perhaps nothing more important than the White House ending its campaign of demonizing in press conferences the free market and our job creators, who built the greatest economy in the world and can do so again if Washington will simply get out of its way. It's telling that news report on the economy today are often given with the Capitol or the White House as a backdrop, not along Main Street or in front of the headquarters of an American company. The entrepreneurs who make the critical decisions that create jobs have been forced to become Washington-centric because Washington is directing this economy to a degree not seen in our lifetimes. That's the problem. Washington needs to get out of the way. It needs to end its job-killing rhetoric, the regulations and intervention, and give Americans confidence to do what we do best, innovate and lead the world in creating economic opportunity based on what the market demands, not on what Washington demands. Finally, America's financial health does matter. We know our perilous debt and deficits are shaking markets and confidence at home and abroad. We also know from 40 years of economic study that our global competitors in similar straits have boosted their economies significantly and soon by reducing their debt, by cutting spending, and restoring business and consumer confidence. Congress has taken an important first step to reduce the size of government this decade with passage of the Budget Control Act, which the President signed, excluding the winding down of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Without recent passage of the Budget Control Act, the government would grow to over 23% of the size of our economy this decade. With its passage, the federal government will shrink to 21.6% of GDP this decade. President Reagan began to reduce the size of the federal government relative to the economy as well. As federal spending shrank from 22.2% of GDP in 1981 to around 18% in 2001, entrepreneurs on Main Street created 3 million private sector jobs. I'll conclude with this. America deserves a strong, growing economy that fully employs our people and is the envy of the world. We cannot do that until we pry Washington's hands off the throats of America's job creators. Our free market economy will create jobs, Mr. President, if we change course today and get government out of the way. Dr. Hall, I look forward to your testimony.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Brady. Congressman Cummings.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and good to be with you again